Hello, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family. Let's try not overheating this phone today. What's going on? Today's topic is Bashar and scalar waves. I'm going to go over the conversation I had with Bashar, and I truly I trust that it will not be the last convo. And it was really great hearing just confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, but just getting insight for someone that is like Bashar. And whether you believe in channeling or not, or have a religious bias against it, which is valid in itself, but we need to understand. Even the Vatican acknowledges aliens. Look it up. Even the Vatican themselves acknowledge aliens. Even if you want to call them demons, whatever you want to call them, whatever your religious beliefs are. But if we have a being, it's just like saying everyone's bad. Really, everyone's bad, right? Or even the channeling aspect is bad. And we know we can't really truly say that, because everyone can change at a certain point. Everyone can do a certain thing at a certain point to discredit their badness. However you want to describe bad. And Bashar, honestly, is one of the few people I can count on my hand in terms of channeling that has actually used their gift with law enforcement, helped them find missing people, helped them find abducted women. Dr. James Cottrell is also on that list. He goes into a quantum state. And if someone was truly that bad and evil and benevolent, that's so ignorant to just say that channeling, every single channeler is evil and bad, blah blah blah, because of religion. That's why. It's not that simple. The all that is, I don't even like to say God anymore. I like to say the all that is. Whoever even created God, the all that is, because if we truly can't figure out ourselves, who are we to figure out God? Right? Or the all that is. That's what I personally love to say myself. I truly respect every single religion out there. As you saw with my last post, I have personally been invited to numerous different churches, synagogues, yes, even synagogues. I've been invited personally, and I've actually been to a few. I've led a few breathwork sessions with prayer. Because personally, I believe breathwork in itself is a form of prayer. It's so subtle, but so powerful. It's the one thing that goes back and forth with the all that is. That's what I like to say. The all that is. Beyond God, beyond religious context, the all that is. Because the breath has touched everything, seen everything, experienced everything, help conduct the electricity in your body to carry out your actions in everything. It in itself is a benevolent being that shows mercy to the merciless. Literally. There's a good and bad in everything based on intention. Exactly. Thank you for that. Yeah, so someone... If you guys didn't see that, the post that I posted, someone was saying, Yahweh says alchemy is bad. Alchemy is bad. Meanwhile, or alchemy is sorcery, I think that's what the person said. And I reminded them that everything is alchemy, down to your breathing. What's happening when you breathe in? there's an alchemical change. There's a chemical reaction. There's a chemical shift in your body. So if everything is alchemy and alchemy is sorcery, then stop breathing. Simple. Stop breathing. I'm sure most of you have been to some mini sessions here that I have. You don't hear me saying, breathe to this entity, breathe to that entity, breathe to... No. Whatever you believe in, that is, that's what I like to bring in my one-on-one sessions. I say, hey, what's your background? What's this and that? And we work based on that, because the breath helps you animate your beliefs. It's when it comes to mantras, I truly have a connection with the perception that mantras technically don't work for everybody. And I mean mantras in the sense of mantras where you can't even understand the words. You saying it in your own language with your own belief system has a stronger connection than a foreign aspect of it. Like Tina Turner, she put me onto Namyo Renge Kyo. But before I even started chanting it, she went on a deep history of what each syllable meant in the mantra, why you pronounce it a certain way, the pronunciations in terms of Namyo Renge Kyo, like the pronunciations of it, and why it was powerful in itself. And that is where the belief systems start to build. But in all honesty, in your own native tongue, whatever that may be, and you can literally look at a certain mantra and see, hey, all right, it means this. You can put it in your own tongue, put it into your own beliefs, whatever that may be, or your own religion, whatever your religion is, and compact it, because it probably has a stronger core to yourself, a stronger core than the external saying, hey, say it this way, make it like this, make it like that. And it's like you're going to, I don't know, it's like you're going to, it's like a forcing, it's like a forceful action. But not everyone is like that. Not everyone goes through that. For some people, it does work for that set of group. Again, I respect all types of different religions. And what is religion? What truly is religion? Religion is a belief in a superhuman or a super omnipotent, omnipresent being, or, keyword or, personal God. And personal, no matter how you look at it, because you can say scripture is this, scripture is that. No one can see what you see. Now that's personal. Some may even say how you spend your money in itself is a personal God. And people look at Hinduism as a religion when it's really not. It's just literally saying that, hey, it's even connecting with, what came before Christianity, what came before Buddhism, what came before even Hinduism itself? Animism. Animism came before every single religion you can spit out of your mouth that you know of or you think to be like the number one. You know what animism is? It's literally saying every single thing in the plane of existence is alive. This is way before science. This is way before medical and universities and labs discovered that everything is moving at a molecular level. All the way down to inanimate objects. Nothing is truly solid. So what does that tell you? Even inanimate objects that you may perceive dead, that doesn't have life force, is moving. It's alive. How did animism itself, people way back before the religious context, the religious structures, how did they know everything was moving, everything was alive, everything had energy to it? How did they know? They were in tune with themselves. They were in tune with, I like to say, all that is. Even before the word God came, God didn't exist until they put it on paper. And that's in respect to all different religions and different contexts of it. God didn't exist until they put it on paper. And that's why I like to say the all that is. Because God looks totally different all throughout the whole entire world. Beyond the Western constructs, beyond how the Western societies have come down on these foreign countries. Like in Jamaica, we say Jah instead of God. Jah. And when you hear it in songs, like in reggae songs, when you hear Jah, it sounds a lot smooth and fluid than saying God. I don't know. It's just, you see? Joining from Nigeria. Before all the religions, there was African spirituality, which latter religions got ideas from. Yeah, but even before African spirituality itself, even animism, tying into that, animism came way before even African spirituality, my friend. But animism is actually the closest to African spirituality. So you're not off in that sense at all. Nothing wrong from source. Hey, everything comes from source. Hey, Victoria's on here. Source is consciousness, frequency. Yeah, it all ties back to how you use these quote-unquote sources of energy, or it all ties back to one. See, no matter, you can even bring the religious context into it. No matter what you do, everything ties back to source. No matter where you go, and even in the Catholic Church, they say, why we invented hell? So we can control the people with fear. Have you ever heard of that one? Why did the church invent hell? Or the idea of hell, when hell in actuality is something actually totally different if you talk to like real religious scholars that has not just stem off one piece of religion, but I'm talking about religious scholars that have dipped their feet in all different types of religion. I was even going through the Bible in itself, and it was talking about the four winds. And I'm like, what does the four winds look like? There's a passage in the Tao Te Ching that talks about the four breaths. And someone was telling me that Jesus himself, some of his constructs also ties pretty close with the Tao. And there's like anagrams and depictions of how they actually connect. So with someone saying that the basic instructions before leaving Earth is the only way, aka the Bible, is the only way of doing something, hasn't seen the whole entire picture at all, and they're only scratching the surface. Hey, does anyone want to hop on here live? So now that I covered all that, and the fact that there are contexts even within different religions talk about quote-unquote aliens beyond quote-unquote angels, or in terms of aliens are not the fallen angels. There's even the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is such a great book that is taking out the basic instructions before leaving Earth. The Book of Enoch is a really great depiction of what actually happened to humanity, of how even the human DNA got messed up. Even it talks about it in the Book of Enoch. It's all there. So even if someone were really constricted by their religious values, whatever that may be, and maybe look at aliens as I don't know. There's videos of quote-unquote UFOs going to volcanoes and stopping the eruption. Have you seen those? So these people were evil, or these beings were evil. And not, again, it's like saying everyone in the whole entire world is evil. To a great extent, yes. You know how some people say, we're all living in sin. Yes and no. And I say yes because every inhale you take, you're killing, keyword killing, you're killing a microbial, you're killing different pathogens within the air if it's going through your nose in terms of a filter, right? You're killing them off. Yeah, and in reality, I'll put it to you like this: we're all killers in a certain extent. So even if somebody doesn't even believe in past lives or reincarnation, well, let's look at your cells. What is your cells doing in certain times? It's killing off bacteria too, like inside of you. It's killing. Keyword killing. It's killing off bacteria. That's happening inside of you. Life and death, reincarnation. It's all part of you. There's no ignoring it or looking at it one way, because it should be looked at all different ways in one sense of seeing the grander perspective of how a divine world we truly live in. Yeah, there are good and bad in all things. Exactly. Oh, someone goes, I have your scalar images printed off all around me. Oh, so let's tap into that. So now that I got that out the way and gave respects to all different types of religions, now we're going to tap into Bashar. Bashar is actually one of the few factors that I can count on my hand that helped me become who you know as the quote-unquote black airbender. But in actuality, I am no one. I am no one. And if you understand that saying, you understand how I respect all religions just by even saying that. Think about it. So, with Bashar. So Bashar is channeled through Daryl Anchor. And Daryl Anchor, Bashar comes from, I believe, the Asani. And here's the connection. I didn't even know this until my friend Tommy was sitting across before Bashar came on, and we had the little interview we did. But Asani, if you guys look back in some of my posts when I went to Colorado, I went to Mesa Verde, and that's where the Asani people lived. And I'm going to bring something very full circle that's going to make so much sense. And some people here who knows of Asani and Mesa Verde, so the people of Asani literally disappeared from existence. Literally, there was no bones left behind, there was no pottery left behind, there was literally nothing left behind in the places they lived. No bones, nothing. Just places where they drew on the walls, and within some of those drawings, I took a picture with one, you can see like the spiral energy, and some people are saying that's an electromagnetic storm. To a certain extent, yes, and I'm going to bring it full circle of what I and my fellow colleagues have, even the people in the Scalar community, we've all concluded what really happened over there. And this is also, according to ancient aliens, they believe an alien came down and abducted them, but it goes even deeper than that. And I'm going to go into what I believe happened. So we also went to the Sun Temple, and here is how you know these people were truly sophisticated people. They were way beyond the whole caveman aspect of it. You know, the fact that they knew if you look at the Sun Temple, look at the Sun Temple. The Sun Temple on an aerial view is literally in a D shape. And it's called the Sun Temple. How in the world, how in existence did these people, if you bring it together, what do you get from the sun when you're in the sun? Vitamin D, right? And it's a D shape, the Sun Temple. They mainly use that space just for rituals or gatherings for cultivating energy from the sun. And there's 5 perfectly, not irregular circles. These are perfectly crisp circles that they made. 5. And you know what coincides with 5 in the sun? The life cycle of a sun. there is 5 cycles to the sun. So how in the world did these people know? How did they connect with the nature of it all? Or I like to say the all that is. How did they connect with the all that is? To design a temple like that, connecting with the sun this way and amplifying whatever energies they cultivated in that one spot. So there's also this one tree, and there's signs that said do not climb over, but we climbed over anyway. Climbed over anyway, gave our respects, and there's this humongous tree that's probably thousands and thousands of years old in that sun temple. And there's a marking, if you look up close to the tree, there's a marking within the tree. And I didn't know what it was until we went later on into the dwellings, and we saw the drawings that they had on the walls of like alien creatures and stuff like that, that are not human at all. And they're dancing with them, having fun with them. So what I truly believe happened was maybe before they left, that was someone just wrote that message. I thought it was, they were getting abducted and were like, hey, let me leave a message behind before we go, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking of that. And also Jen, we found a quartz crystal literally right next to the ground in the tree, like right underneath there, which is really peculiar too. That was really cool. But we traded it for a Rudraksha and gave our respects. But we truly believe someone left it there. So we're like swapping the energies here and there, and she wears it every day now. But yeah, going back to the Sun Temple, archaeologists, when they look at the Sun Temple, they literally compare it in the way that it's designed. It's truly almost impossible to recreate that perfectly designed, the D shape down to the perfectly designed circles. But not only that, the way they're spaced out. Go look up Sun Temple aerial view, and you'll see what I'm talking about, how spaced out those circles are to each other. And the people who even study the pyramids look at it in a similar context of how perfectly designed the pyramids are, how perfectly designed the Sun Temple are. And they say they're literally connected in that sense of the sophistication and the mindset just creating what they created. They were very advanced people. So what we've concluded, going back to the Sun Temple and Asani and the whole Bashar connection. So Tommy pulls up the sapphire that has a spiral on there, and he goes, oh, it's called the Asani crystal. And I go, that's interesting. Because in Mesa Verde, that's what they were called, the Asani people. Might be a connection there. So, what we've concluded was that they definitely opened up a portal. They definitely opened up a portal. We've concluded, we don't think they got abducted. Nah. They opened up a portal themselves, went through the portal, and then never came back. Don't know where they went. But there's also similar books that depicts that. That's what my friend was. That's how we've concluded. That's what happened. And the way that, going back to what happened a couple days with me and Bashar, talking about Scalar. And I kid you not, I'll talk about what happened when we put it on the way we were told to by Bashar. And honestly, this will not be the final encounter I have with them, because the people that manage Daryl Anchor and Bashar love my questions, and they always want me to come back on to their stuff. So I'm definitely going to reach out to them, and they reached out to me. They love the questions and how he explained certain things. We also talked about I brought that up, and we need to ask it in a specific manner. I can't say the V word at all, and that's understandable. And one of the ways he answered it was respecting the fact that he doesn't want to get in political manners. And mind you, the backstory to that is, a couple years ago when I went to go see the documentary of scientists working on Bashar when he's in that channel state, and how 2 brains popped up, which is technically impossible, by the way. I'm literally in the room when you're watching the documentary. You don't know who you're sitting next to when you go to these certain events. You might be sitting to scientists, you might be sitting to high respected political figures that you don't even know of, but you never know. And when that was happening, everyone in the whole entire room was like, yo, that's impossible. And they know exactly what the machinery does. And to see 2 brains on that one machinery blew everyone's mind. And that's the time I knew that, all right, this is really happening. And it goes all the way back to even African spirituality. Someone brought it up, the Dogon people. And the Dogon people, and this is why I brush off when religious people say that aliens are evil, channeling is bad in that sense. Well, it depends on the intention of the channeling. It depends on all these different factors. Got to respect that, yes. But let's go back to the Dogon people. The Dogon people knew where Sirius was way before scientists came along and pointed, hey, that's where Sirius was. But the Dogon people knew that thousands of years before science came along. And how did they know? They always go back to the how. You could say they were channeling, or they were just in tune with the nature of reality that was. Going back to animism, right? How did they know that everything was alive and moving at a certain molecular level way before we concluded at a microscopic level down to inanimate objects being able to move? How did they know? They were in tune with themselves. They were in tune with the environment. They respected the environment more than we do in today's society. You hear so many people, and there's technology these days where you can put on a plant and make music with a plant, because the plant has feelings, the plant has expression, the plant has an energy behind it. Now we're getting the state of remembering. You see, this isn't nothing new. Even Bashar said, you're not so I asked, one of the questions I asked was, what does scalar technology have in the hindrance and the growth of humanity? And he acknowledged that all technologies that you have that's available, and specifically to you, you're not creating, you're recreating. That keyword, recreating. And it goes back and tying into, we are remembering. We are remembering a time where we didn't have religious wars. We are remembering a time where we're putting our ego in a balance where we can grow with each other. We're remembering a time where we're not limiting ourselves to certain contexts of structures and how something should be. We're remembering a time where humanity was truly flourishing to unlimited potential. Keyword, remembering. This isn't new age. This is now age. This is now. This isn't new. This is now. This isn't old. This is now. The breath isn't anything new. The scalar isn't anything new. The breath consciousness isn't anything new. And breath consciousness ties so deep within animism all the way to what I formulated, what I call organ breathing. And some shamans actually do the same thing in certain traditions. It's there. It's so powerful, but it's there. And you saw the picture with the guy who wanted to use urine to cure his dog, but his family was like, we don't know about that. But he used organ breathing instead to heal his dog. That's powerful. Using the breath in that sense. And it even ties into what Jesus did and what the Prophet Muhammad did. Like, all these religious contexts, they're not as separate as you think. And it's sad to see the war in the Middle East. That war is not a godly war at all. Nope. That's not a godly war. You know what what a godly war is? A godly war is, hey, let's see how fast we can heal our people. Hey, let's see how fast we can save the famine. And have a race based on that rather than greed, wealth, power. That's a godly war. The war in the Middle East, that's not a godly war at all. That is truly a dense human construct of being. That's not expressive. That's not godly in a sense, or however you define godly. Or I like to say the all that is. Because the all that is, you can't confine the all that is. You can't confine it. So we asked Bashar, what else can we do with Scalar? And one of the key things he brought, so he also scanned our room, and we were also filming. And when he scanned the room, if you watch the replay, I didn't, because I sent this to Breath Family first, because I signed an NDA. I'm only going to release it maybe in 2 days, a certain part of it, when I was asking Bashar certain questions. But the rest of it's just for Breath Family. And when I do the workshop, I'll show you guys what transpired in that full conversation. But when he scanned the room, because he asked, hey, do you have a technology? Because he asked, hey, we're going to see if you actually have the technology to do what we've asked. And we asked him, one of the questions was, if Scalar disrupts time and space, how do we step through the door? And next time I'm going to be even more direct and say, how do we literally create a physical portal? But honestly, when you go into our space right now, you definitely feel a shift. We're going to have Tommy and Tyler come down and feel it themselves, but you definitely feel a shift. But we asked that question, then he asked, do you have the machinery? Do you have the technical capability to run with this certain frequency all the way to this certain frequency at a 15-second interval? And I go, oh, do you mean this? And he goes, yes. And the way that he was answering it, it's like he truly wanted me to like get an understanding of like, hey, you sure? Like, you sure you understand this? I'm like, yes, I understand it. And my friend, my other Scalar friend, he rewatched the video himself. Like, yeah, he made sure that you wanted to do that, to know those particular variables. And he said, all right, let's make sure you actually have this technology. And what he does is, like I was telling you, Bashar is one of the few people that actually helped law enforcement find missing people and actually help law enforcement find fugitives and stuff like that with his gifts. Dr. James Cottrell is also another one who've actually done it. And that's also, for me personally, that means a lot in the sense of, if you are who you say you are, how are you utilizing it to help, quote unquote, humanity? You know, that question always pops up in my head. Hey, but not everyone is entitled to use their gifts to help. I'm not entitled to actually be on here helping people in this sense, right? So when he scanned the room, you can see the camera literally start to flicker, like, and I felt the air in the room just shifted. Like, you can definitely feel something shifted. So after the whole thing was done, we went to a medicine music ceremony, and then we came home, and then we actually put all the scalars, and we had the whole pyramid set up. Right now, we actually sleep underneath the pyramid. Like, I sleep flat on the ground underneath the pyramid, and we have the scalars on the base of each side of the pyramid running. Those particular frequencies going back and forth at 15-second intervals. And when you do that, when we did that, we turned off all the lights, we started to hear the helicopter. We started to hear the helicopter. When you I'm going to warn all of you, when you turn on these types of devices, they know. They know. They know that this tower specifically is giving off a radiated frequency. Have your dreams intensified at all? Oh yeah, for sure. I even try to do my one-on-one video within the scalar field, and people feel it when we do certain exercises going back and forth. Oh, Rainbow Booty goes, the Bashar clip was amazing. Would love to see you guys revisit. Oh, the V topic. Yeah, we're going to. We're going to have a conference in Breath Family, and I really want everyone in Breath Family to rewatch that video as much as possible. So when we have this conference, I want to hear, your guys' output. And some of you already know Bashar, so it's a beautiful thing that, some of you know his work. Some of you probably have used some of his things within your own work. I Pyramids. If you guys know who I Pyramids is, he technically was part of the school around that time. I think in 2012. He's part of that group that we would always go back and forth with Bashar and sit in meditations and stuff like that. If you guys know who I Pyramids is, that's how I Pyramids came to be. Look at his technology. That's how I Pyramids came into existence. And Bashar is one of those factors of how that company came into existence. Yeah, certain helicopters, like black helicopters. And those helicopters aren't government issued, by the way. So we talked about religion. We talked about Bashar. And one of the questions I have coming up, I really want to ask is, can I use certain crop circles? And I don't want to use just any crop circles. So that's one of my questions, because people think crop circles are a myth or lies and stuff like that. But there's actually certain crop circles, if you look at them, and they have done this, where you put them side by side of some of Nikola Tesla's patents, they match. They match. There is no such thing as coincidence when you look at some of Tesla's patents of how geometrical the intention of the geometry in there within his patents. It's like so embedded in there. It's hard to ignore. That can't be a coincidence. Oh, Victoria goes, I just LOL'd so much when Bashar was like, have fun. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I Pyramids, yeah. That's them. But my intention for this workshop and why I want to do it this way is because I'm gonna. Oh, are we back? I think we're back. All right. I'm gonna have a community when we do this workshop. That way, the community builds. But that's my intention with doing this workshop. When everyone gets the scalar waves, I don't want it to just be, all right, I have the scalar wave, peace out. No. We can be so powerful together, creating a massive shift beyond human comprehension. And that is what scalar energy is in itself. Scalar energy falls in the category of chi, prana, ki, all those things under those categories. And people think, using technology is bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, I asked my friend John, who sets up these scalar waves and stuff, I asked, like, hey, does anyone use it in their energy practices and stuff like that? Well, he said, well, there's you, and there's a few Reiki masters that literally put it underneath the seat of a person. And they can reattune certain energies on that person. They can see it more clear. They can feel it more clear on a person, wherever those blockages are. So it's not this is what I like to say. It's a God-fearing tool, even though I don't like to use the word God-fearing, the word God, but it's God-fearing technology. Now, what do I mean by God-fearing technology? I mean in the sense where the intention behind a certain technology is honoring nature, is honoring the sacred geometric divine divinity in everything. And that is how, deep within my being of all the knowledge that I have, I truly understand, have this feeling that that's how, on those ancient walls, on those ancient books, like I'm talking about those stone books where they're saying, hey, this king lived for thousands of years old. This king, this queen, this civilization lived for thousands of years. Those were their lifespans, because they were utilizing technologies like these in a more harmonious way versus what you have today, like HARP. Go look up HARP and Scalar. That should be an explanation in itself. So we can all come together and tide the shift. And this is why, one of the main reasons why any tornadoes coming towards the south of Florida, where Miami is, within the whole South Florida aspect, you'll always see it just curve. In the last 10 plus years, and this is what John, my friend, that's what he's been doing. He's been scattering them out to so many different people. So over 100 plus people have them here in the south of Florida alone. And he says, doesn't matter what frequency you're running, it's having an effect on those HARP signals coming in. And I said to myself, well, that's interesting, because compared to other places I've been to, I barely see chemtrails or at least when I do see, I've seen chemtrails at least 3 times here. From the past 2 years I've been here, I've only seen chemtrails 3 times. And those that live here, if you ever see chemtrails, notice how fast they dissipate. That's the one peculiar thing I've noticed within the skies here in Miami. They go away pretty fast compared to Jersey, where they'll stay, you'll just look at that thing for hours, like what the hell. But here, just like that. It's an interesting phenomenon in the skies over here. He doesn't have social media. John does not have social media. And John has given me the blessing to work this workshop the way that I'm going to. And he loves that I'm doing it this way, because it keeps the integrity of how to utilize scalar waves. You can look at the whole white magic, black magic aspect of it, and we want to keep it pure as possible. Tesla was connected with the Akashic records. I believe ideas can be channeled. You can say that, yeah. Yeah, tapping into that. Before anything came to mind, anything came to a physical aspect of it, Tesla had it in his head first. All the way down to the wiring, all the way down to the mechanical features. And did you know Tesla had a battery charged car? He drove all the way from New York to San Francisco. Did you know that? Today's Tesla, it does not keep the integrity of what Nikola Tesla wanted to do for the world. Do you know how much energy it takes to create a Tesla car? Look into that. It's actually doing more harm to the world than good. That's one of the biggest lies when it comes to Tesla, the Tesla company. Hey Jen Rock, I haven't seen your name in a long time. Victoria, do you want to hop on here live? Because you're in Breath Family, so you've seen the Bashar video. And if it wasn't for Breath Family pointing out the fact that the screen like flickered a little bit, and that's how you can tell when you do certain energy practices, or that be even prayer. I've seen I've seen mass prayers being televised on, like, at the Mecca. If you've ever seen, there's only one time I watched it for some reason, but you could see the TV like messing up in a certain way when you have that whole collective praying. And even certain sermons, you'll see the TV messing up. That's energy. And this is why I respect all religions. It shouldn't be like the spiritual narcissist, like that. Like I posted that. There's so many spiritual narcissists, right? When we should always be looking at the whole view of how everything is interconnected. And that's God. Or that's the all that is. Where are you off to in December? Oh yeah, so I'm offering 12-hour experiences here in Miami, where we'll start off with we can even start off with a sauna depending on how many people are in there. We can start in the sauna with a breath work, open the energy fields in the body. We'll do about like 1 to 2 hours of it, and then hop into the scalar field. Everyone will lay down and we'll literally go at it for about 11 plus hours non-stop with a sound bath within the scalar field, and you will feel it for sure. Victoria's hot. Has actually been over my place. She slept over here. She can tell you firsthand what sleeping next to the scalar stuff is like.
Yeah, so do you want to start there?
Yeah, start there, sis.
Okay, so whenever I came, I noticed like definitely a difference remotely with the scalar, like right away. Just like there was less resistance throughout my day of like the different things that I wanted to do and the different like I don't know, different practices. It just felt like more potent and more like it was just everything was happening. Um, And then whenever I stayed at your house, um, that night it was like, because I went to the sound bath and then slept there. So the sound bath was like really powerful and like a whole experience of itself. And the energies was just like so strong. It took me a long time to even go to sleep. Like I was just awake. It wasn't like an anxious or anything. I was just like let's go out, let's go for a walk or something. I don't know. And once I did fall asleep, I didn't sleep for that long. I woke up, but I also had really like weird and like disturbing dreams. And I had that also, it happened like the next couple nights too, after even I left. And like I was thinking of, I've always felt like, at least in my experience, my dreams will often have context of like if there's something my subconscious like wants me to address and I'm not addressing it in my conscious mind, or maybe just like some part of my being is like I'm on this certain track in my like waking life and I don't need the experience in like this reality, so I'll have it in my dreams to kind of like deal with that energy and then kind of be set. So I feel like it was a lot of different clearings going on with like my subconscious and like any like weird or like sludge from my energy and my subconscious. It was just kind of like clearing it. And like every day whenever I would go to sleep, I would feel like kind of weird, like I knew like I was getting into something. And then I would and then I would wake up and feel so good and so ready to like get outside, get my body moving and just like ready for the day. Yeah.
Fire. Yeah, someone goes, your subconscious was basically purging. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Um, like Gloria in the Breath family, you heard her testimonial where that was her intention for her niece, because her niece is going through depression, and scalar waves are literally within your thoughts. You can't see them. It's just like Wi-Fi in a sense, and it really has an effect, just like it's having an effect on your dreams, right? It's having an effect on your mental aspect, your mental clarity in itself. And I look at it as it really helps give a mental filter. It's another barrier of filter that it also helps purge and brings everything to the surface in that sense, and you have to deal with it. But it gives you a better outlook and a better filter, but more so the filter to help you, live and attract more of that frequency that's being emanating from the scalar in a more harmonious way, because we've actually put healing frequencies on the scalar. So you should be taking that in, and that's going, you're shifting into that paradigm, that reality, that thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I feel like it was kind of just like clearing or just neutralizing any imbalances that were like not in harmony with exactly what you're saying, with those like more healing and just like yeah, harmonious, like the things that feel good. And I remember I sent for the remote scalar in the breath fam, I sent pictures specifically of my stomach and like sacral for the remote. And I noticed because I started like very easily after the remote scalar, like every other day on liquids. And I would notice like if I would drink a lot of juice, I would still kind of get bloated, like as if I like ate a meal. And I was wondering like if the scalar would like do something for that, and I stopped getting bloated. Like if I drink juice or if I drink like a lot of smoothie, it doesn't like bloat anymore.
You're you literally took a picture of your navel. You know, that's where, even though you can't see your umbilical cord, if you guys ever do deep meditation or deep breath work, I'm talking about for hours, you'll get to that point where you look at your navel and you'll see that light really connect to your navel. It's always there. It's not, it doesn't go away. That's literally your tree of life. Like, you are literally attached to the tree of life, the placenta, in the physical in that sense, but astral wise, it's always there.
Yeah, that's what that was kind of like my thought process whenever you said like if you want to send pictures of like specific areas or ailments or anything. I was thinking like, you know, solar plexus, if that's like the center of your being where everything's like radiating out from. I'm like, there. Go ahead.
That was so smart.
But yeah, I don't know like how much we're allowed to talk about like the Bashar video.
Uh, Not too much, but your general consensus of what you've seen. What, were you one of those few that said, "Hey, at this point in time, that's when stuff starts to flicker"? When he asks about, let me view, let me scan your place. Were you one of those people?
So the first time I watched it, I wasn't like actually like looking at the video. I was just listening because I was like walking around doing stuff. And the second time I watched it, I noticed it, but I thought like it was just something with my phone or something. I was like, like I watched it again after I saw people send the that message, and I was like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. Like it's just like sync, like confirmation. Yup.
Yeah, that was wild. Like, Jen, Tommy, Tyler, like, we're all in the room, and when he said that, like, everyone looked up, like, everyone felt something different in the air when he did that. It was, I still get goosebumps just talking about it.
You said Jen got goosebumps like right when he did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Jen got goosebumps. I just got like a chill. Just whew.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it was definitely like it was interesting. Like he worded himself very specifically.
Yeah, he
And
does that.
yeah, that was just like, whew, okay.
So next time we have to be very specific, but we'll talk about it in on the conference call. I would love to hear everyone's. Maybe everyone can come up with ideas of what to ask him together as a collective, and then I can condense it. I really felt that I was gonna ask. I asked him because I had so many questions in line, and I asked him, "Hey, can I ask 5 questions instead of 3?" And she's like, "Oh no, he'll stop you at a certain point." I was like, "Okay." When we were going back and forth, I really felt like I could have asked him. Man, I totally forgot about the crop circle one. Totally forgot about that. That'll be for next time, if anything. But this time we can definitely ask, specifically about the spike. The spike. You guys know where I'm going with that,
Yeah.
and how we can utilize that within Scalar. So we don't have to say the V word at all. We can just target that, because within the scalar community, or at least no, within the frequency community, when it comes to the spike, um, you can use certain frequency to negate it, but whenever you turn it off, it always comes back for some reason, and that's not normal. That's a mutation. So there has to be a specific set where you can actually eradicate it from the body, and that's where I'm focusing on, for sure.
I think the frequency with the scalar specifically is so powerful because it's like it kind of allows us to surrender to that. I thought it was so interesting. He was talking about like permission slips for healing because like so my some of the stuff that I've been doing with the emotion code, right? It can target in the body like specific organs or specific virals or sometimes not even a physical viral virus, but the energy of a virus that the physical virus isn't in your body, but the energy of the virus could be affecting something, or the energy of a virus that you inherited from your great 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 grandfather could be doing some type of something that gives you mental fog or anything. And it is just that a permission slip of like different things work for different people, but I think the scalar specifically has so much power because it's just like going right for that frequency. So anyone that's open to healing in whatever regard, in whatever frequency, because you're playing so different, many of them, it's like you get some healing, you get some healing.
And I made this connection, and this ties in even to the religious context, no matter how you look at it in this sense. Um, if you take away, if you take, someone asked me because she's converting or she's going into the space of Christianity and stuff like that, and she asked me, "Hey, is yoga evil in the sense of sorcery and um, in the sense of worshiping certain things?" And I go, well, if you take away, if you don't focus on the deities and just focus on the aspect of, hey, when I stretch my body this way, I am healing. Just focus on that because that's what you're doing. It stretches and you're healing in that sense. You don't really have to focus on Shiva or all these other deities in that sense, and focus and just focus on that. Exactly. Yoga is a form of technology, just like that. And you can just utilize it that way. And hey, you can have a prayer like, hey, I'm stretching, I'm healing, keyword healing, and tying into all different religions, tying to all different factors, tying to all different beliefs. You could be a killer, you could be a robber, any of that. Deep down within the molecular structure of that being, that person is healing. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't stop healing just because, oh, I'm a robber, I'm a killer. They didn't stop healing, right?
No, it's true. It's true. It's exactly, you said it earlier, and I say it all the time. It's not what you do, it's why you do it, how you do it, the intention behind it. Because people can do the right thing for the wrong reasons all the time. And people like with a religious background or with a religious path or, of Christianity or whatever, it's like you can take something like making food, right? That's not inherently Christian or has to do with God. Not like if you're in the mindset, it depends, right? Like people have different ways of like viewing and going about making food, of course, right? But the intention, the prayer, what you're thinking, how your body feels, why you're going to make that food in that specific way, like the intention. Because just the same, someone could like make tea and have like some type of satanic ritual of like burning or whatever. Like it's the intention. Oh, you're muted.
My bad. Yeah, we got a minute and 40 seconds left.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a story with Haile Selassie. There's the last emperor or king of Ethiopia, and he's highly revered in the Rasta community. But there's a time where this assassin came up to him gunpoint, and he was speaking in front of the UN. Came up to him gunpoint, and all he did was like look at him, and I don't know what. There's a way to train yourself to do this, but when he looked at him, the gunman started like shriveling and started like crying all of a sudden, and that in itself shows you that everyone deep down wants to heal. Everyone wants to heal.
Yeah,
Not even want to. It's just part of your nature.
yeah, literally.
There it is. It's nature. If it heals, ask yourself. If you're really constructed between religion and whatever the case may be, ask yourself, hey, does this heal? And go from there.
I've heard a quote before, real quick. It says like every expression of a human or of nature is either an expression of love or a cry for help or healing.
Oof. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I thank everyone for sharing the breath. If you have a wellness center, if you even have a farm, you can tap into just taking a picture and utilizing it to amplify your crops. We're definitely testing that out. And